Freeh, welcome. I have just a few short questions. First, during your tenure, there were sanctuary laws enforced by New York City, by LA, San Diego, Houston, Chicago, and some other cities. These were well known to Al-Qaeda, if not to the American public. These laws, as you know, in defiance of Section 133 of the Immigration Act, prohibit local authorities in those cities from cooperating with the FBI or INS in any matters having to do with immigration. Did this trouble you during your tenure, and did you try to do anything about it?
Well, as I mentioned in my my written testimony, at the request of then Deputy Attorney General Gorelick, I made a series of recommendations with respect to the INS and asked that certain measures be taken, including legislative changes, to give us a better ability to, first of all, identify alien terrorists and then detain them and remove them promptly from the United States. With respect to the laws that you mentioned, I can't think of an instance in my tenure when that was a prohibition or an inhibition from us either getting some information or doing something that we wanted to do. We were more frustrated with the length of time that it took to remove aliens for whom we had documented information with respect to terrorist activities.
And those recommendations that you recommended to Justice, they were turned down or just ignored? Or
no, they were actually implemented. In fact, President Clinton, to his great credit, introduced in 1996 the anti-terrorism bill, H.R. 2703. Unfortunately, when it was in the House, there was an amendment that was entered, which was passed by a large majority, that stripped the bill of most of its important counterterrorism measures. In fact, the ones that Deputy Attorney General Gorelick and I recommended. In fact, I think two of you actually voted on the amendment.
Thank you. The case law approach has been a subject of a great deal of criticism from many of the witnesses and interviewees. You've made an able defense of it in your op-ed piece and in your testimony. However, it certainly has some limitations, according to some of the witnesses we've had. We've had very senior officials in CIA tell us that they were unaware of any of the connections among the 93 World Trade Center terrorists, because all the information was sealed and protected and not shared during the trial of the people. Particularly after that material was released, and particularly after you were able to apprehend Ramzi Youssef, one of the principal actors who had escaped to Baghdad, Abdul Rahman Yassin, was in Baghdad and on the payroll of Iraqi intelligence. Did you recommend doing anything to extradite him or to render him in any way as one of the key Al-Qaeda operatives?
Well, over the period of years after the World Trade Tower indictments in 1993, but then maybe more particularly following the Manila Air indictment in 1995, and of course the 1998 indictments with respect to bin Laden and his associates, we continuously recommended and actually put into play operations to arrest and render fugitives back to the United States in those cases. I don't recall an instance with respect to Yassim. With respect to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, in early 1996, we actually staged agents over in the Persian Gulf and had an operation well underway to arrest him. He was transiting a country that we thought we could get access to him. Unfortunately, that didn't work. We believe he was actually tipped off about the operation. People like Qazi, who of course murdered the people outside the CIA, He was arrested by FBI agents, brought back, convicted of murder in Fairfax County. Ramzi Youssef we spoke about. So we continuously tried to get, and did in many cases, get these fugitives. I don't recall a particular plan with respect to Yasim.
One last question. The Oklahoma City case, again, one of the criticisms has been that one of the problems of the case law approach to intelligence is that once you focus on a convicting particular terrorists, that there has to be a hypothesis of the case, and that's where all the resources, the investigative resources, are put in. In the case of Oklahoma City, the hypothesis was that there were two Americans and they acted alone. There's a new book out now, as you probably know, called The Third Terrorist, that has new information that begs for further investigation, showing the links or purporting very significant links between Terry Nichols and Ramzi Youssef in the Philippines, and also links between the two perpetrators and Hussein al-Husseini, the Iraqi perhaps agent. Are you satisfied that you ran all of these potential al-Qaeda links to ground with McVeigh and Nichols?
Well, other than that book, which I haven't read, you know, I don't know any other credible source with respect to that kind of a link. No, I have not run those links myself. I certainly was not aware of them when I was FBI director. I know that there is a review going on with respect to some of the matters that have been raised by his attorney in connection with the state murder prosecution that's ongoing. I guess I don't want to say anything with respect to that case as it's being tried now by a judge and a jury. But I don't know of any connections except the one you've just mentioned between Ramzi Youssef and that terrorist act.
Thank you.